increase our visibility with Microsoft sellers, which in turn helps us when we're introduced to new partners.
It has accelerated our entrance into new markets, and our product is developing with higher quality and at higher speed than it would otherwise have.
Things like ISV licensing, handling our licenses just like any Microsoft first-party applications. We see that as a big benefit.
What ISV Connect program introduced is very different level of confidence with our customer. And with the Microsoft expanding the program, we are expecting to grow our ISV portfolio significantly.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another installment of ISV Connect Live. My name is Brian Galicia. I lead our global business applications ISV business. I'm actually broadcasting this live from Belgium, actually, because I'm had the opportunity. I guess I'm switching places a little bit because as you get to know Christoph in this dialogue, he's actually Belgian himself. But I'm actually traveling this week, but it's fantastic to actually have the team from Itineris IE, Christoph, joined me. But before we get to introductions, let me set the tone for how we typically run these events. So these events really highlight our business applications, ISV, independent software vendors, in our ecosystem. And so we have a great conversation on tap today because when you get to learn Itineris, they have a very unique value proposition around the utility space that we wanted to make sure everyone was aware of. So throughout the conversation, we'd love to have you get engaged. So first off, when you go in, because you're watching this live in the LinkedIn experience, if you want to type in where you're watching from around the world, maybe you're watching from Belgium, where I'm currently broadcasting this from a Microsoft office. Maybe you're from Atlanta, Georgia, or the Georgia area, or the east coast of the US, where Christoph is actually based, or anywhere in between. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll actually do a shout out at the very beginning to anyone who maybe types it in so that we can celebrate you joining our conversation today. Also, if you have any questions, we always have space to ask one or two questions of the speaker who I host on these calls. And so if you do have a question about anything that Christoph or I are talking about, feel free to also put that into the LinkedIn window, and towards the end, we may be able to ask the question live. And lastly, as you're listening to the conversation, if you want to utilize one of the LinkedIn emojicon, like, support, etc., throughout the conversation, that helps us also ensure that the conversation we're having is actually being relevant to people listening. So with that being said, welcome Christoph to the ISV Connect Live event. So great to have you, and gosh, what a great partnership we have with Itineris. So as we kick off the dialogue, like I ask all my guests, we can kick it off by having you describe what do you do at Itineris, and what's one thing that's not on your LinkedIn profile that you're open to sharing to this broad audience that's listening or maybe replay later.
Okay, good morning, Brian. Thanks for inviting us, having Itineris on the call here. We really appreciate it, and it's indeed a testament to the relationship we have. So my name is Christoph Vancompernolle. I am, as Brian said, Belgium, but today I'm broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. I have been with Itineris 10 years now in North America in various capacities, and I've been in the utility sector for about 15 years now. Before Itineris, joining Itineris in North America, I was actually head of a utility company in Belgium, where I was responsible for the CIS system, the billing system. And that's where I learned the end user perspective for a system like ours. And to this day, I often think back at that experience when we are making proposals to our customers. So it was a great education for me back then. With Itineris, I have been in a technical solution architect role for various customers here in the North American market. And currently I'm director of enterprise architecture. And in that role, I have basically two responsibilities. I advise our customers and our prospects on how to integrate our system in their existing application landscape, and more general what it means for them to run a business critical system like ours in the cloud, in Azure. And on the flip side, I take those insights I gained from our customers and our prospects, look at what they need, and then look at what the market has to offer with partners like yourself, but also others. And then I use that information to advise our internal Itineris teams on what the product definition should be and what potential product enhancements can be. So that's a little bit about myself. You asked something which is not on my LinkedIn profile. Well, as a self-respecting Belgian, it's got to do something with beer, right? So I'm a home brewer. 5 years ago, I installed a really small brewery in the basement of my home, and now I'm brewing my own beer.
I love it, Christoph. So maybe the first question would be, what type of beer is it? Is it light, dark? Do you have your own glass like Stella does?
No, not yet. I basically brew ales or stouts or porters. I really like the darker beers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Well, if I'm ever in the Atlanta, Georgia area next time, I'll have to hit you up and try one of your Belgian homebrews that you're making in your garage. Before we get to the next question, let me do a quick shout out to everyone watching, and thank you for people commenting. So sometimes we don't always get the name, but this is Willem from I'm not sure where Turnhout is, and I'm sure you know where that is, Christoph, but I'm sure it's pretty close to Brussels, where I'm broadcasting this from. We have Paul watching from England, UK. Thank you so much, Paul, for watching. We have John watching from Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio. And then again, not sure where Zwolle is, but I'm sure it's kind of near the Brussels, because Belgium is not a huge country, but I'm sure Zwolle is somewhere near the Belgium or the Brussels area, probably a city north, south, east, or west. But thank you so much, everybody, for commenting. And Christoph, why don't we just start with kind of the big question of what are the business outcomes that Itineris helps to solve? I mean, you talked a little bit, and I mentioned it's like things in utilities, and it's so great when I have conversations with people in organizations where you've lived it. I mean, you've actually, as you mentioned, like you've worked in this space, and now you're working with an ISV to go drive that. So maybe talk about what are some of the things that you saw that were challenges, and what are the outcomes that helps us drive together.
So with Itineris, we are both an ISV and an SI. So we are both. So we build and implement CIS and CRM systems, and they're built on top of Microsoft Dynamics. And with that, we want to empower the utilities to play their role in the world of energy and water. And with our group of 450 employees, we focus only on the utility market. That's the only thing we do. Whether it's regulated, deregulated, whether it's municipal utilities or IOUs, that's what we focus on. As a matter of fact, we were recognized in 2022 by Gartner as an industry disruptor. And the solution we bring, which is called UMAX, it's a customer information system. Traditionally, you would call it a billing system, but we support everything, all the meter to cash processes, account management, customer management, and so forth, but also more value add functions like we have a great customer self-service portal. We have our own field services module, and more recently we are dipping into the sales and the marketing functionality. And with our solution, we support everything between utilities with 50,000 connections all the way up to 1 million and even more. Our biggest customer in Belgium has 1.5 million connections, so it's really scalable. And the great thing is, like, with our solution, we allow the utilities to focus on what they do best, which is serving their customers. But by building or building on top of the Microsoft Dynamics platform, we get to focus on what we do best, which is building CIS and CRM solutions. And what that means is we want to help utilities reach operational efficiency by optimizing and automating their business processes. Sometimes we come into organizations who have manual processes which are tedious. We try to automate them so they can really focus on just the exceptions. And as I already mentioned, part of our solution is a customer self-service portal. And the goal of that is to empower the end users to find solutions to their own questions. People don't necessarily want to call into a utility to ask a question, so they rather have the tools to try and find the answers themselves. And that's what our portal does. And as such, it makes room with the CSR team of the utilities to spend more time on different activities. And we also recently started integrating in our solution omnichannel, and that really helps the utilities to provide the customers with different ways to communicate. Right, the customers want to communicate with utilities on their terms, at the time it's convenient for them, using the channel that's convenient for them, and using whatever device they happen to have in their hands. So with our omnichannel built into our solution, we can help the utilities provide just that. But more than anything, I think our customers really like the fact that with our solution, they don't just get a single solution, but we are providing them with a platform. In some case, we already leverage existing investments. Think about Azure, think about Office, think about Power BI. But they have with our solution a single platform. It's foundation, a secure foundation. And quite often we see that they start building on top of that. And all our modules are fitting into that single platform. So the moment they start growing, they become more mature. They can activate additional modules, all knowing that all those modules share the same data, achieving that elusive 360-degree view on the customer. So that's really important for that. And it's not just the product. As I said in my introduction, we are both an ISV and an SI. The ISV is what we bring to the table with the product, but with a team that helps implement the solution with the utilities we work with, we bring also expert knowledge. We bring the best practices that we have seen elsewhere. And we always like to talk about our Magenta touch. We are the Magenta family. We bring the personal touch. And on a higher level, Itineris as an organization really wants to work towards a partnership, not just a supplier customer or vendor customer relationship, but more a partnership for the future, where we are a trusted advisor, but we work with them to keep a finger on the pulse on, okay, what's happening in their world, what are the challenges you're working with, and give our customers a voice in our product definition. We work with them. They give us great ideas. They come to us with their challenge, and we work together to integrate that in our product wherever possible. And I think those different aspects, a great product, a dedicated team, is what makes what has given us our 100% success ratio currently in all our deliveries. It's something we're really proud of, and we don't intend to change anytime soon.
Gosh, well said, Christoph. I mean, so many amazing things that you described at what Itineris provides. I mean, ranging from self-service. You think about we're all utility consumers. I mean, that's the beauty of it, is everyone listening to this call, whether you think about it or not, we all consume something, whether it be water, gas, electricity, solar, something. And we think about putting ourselves in the shoes of what we are, the consumers. You want the self-service, you want a portal, self-service portal, but also if you can't find something, how do I get a hold of you? Or how do I get a hold of the person that can help me solve the problem in the mechanism that I choose to get a hold of you, whether it be traditional phone, text, or whatever that mechanism is. And I love how you said omni-channel, because that is one of the things, is just delivering the value to the end customer.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think the other component, you mentioned this on the cloud side too, is that when utilities traditionally for many years ran on very legacy on-prem environments, and you're modernizing some of that experience, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but some of that work that you're doing is modernizing the experience so that they can be scalable in the future, so that upgrades, or when things happen in busy months, they have the solutions that can scale up and down, because it's running in the cloud, where additional resources, without having someone to think about like, oh, we need to upgrade the server, or we need to increase the capacity on that server, because it's running in the cloud, it will do all that stuff automatically based upon the load that's actually occurring within the scenario. Would that be a fair
Absolutely. I mean, yeah. One of the things you mentioned, and I wanted to mention it in the introduction as well, is we have aligned ourselves with the Microsoft 1V approach, where customers no longer are faced with big upgrades in the future, but instead they get regular, smaller, easy to digest updates. And what that really does for them is that they have a solution which is constantly up to date, it's evergreen, and because of that, actually all our customers are on the exactly same version. Everybody really appreciates that, and they really appreciate the fact that when a new feature comes out, they don't have to wait many months, or in some cases many years, but they get it with the next update. So that's really beneficial for them, and they get to benefit from those new features right away.
That's great. So the next question, of course, you've been at Itineris for a decade, which is, I mean, what an amazing, you think about how long people stay at companies, and it's always great to see people as long as you staying at organizations and seeing the growth and the conversations. Maybe talk about the experience. Like Itineris has been a long-standing partner in the Microsoft ecosystem. Maybe you can share, Christoph, what has that meant in your engagement, or just an engagement with Itineris in partnering with Microsoft and being part of the ecosystem?
Yeah, that's a great question. Over the years, we have a wide variety of relationships, a wide variety of certifications with Microsoft. Obviously, we're part of the ISV Connect. We're also a global ISV. We are proudly part of the inner circle, I should say. Mm-hmm. We are working with the partner development management, and more than anything is that it brings us obviously early access to certain releases, but access to the Microsoft team, access to senior management, access to engineering teams, program managers across the organization. And it really has helped us to get in touch with the Microsoft team, not only within Dynamics, but also beyond on a SQL Server or anything like that. And through the ISV Connect, you guys have helped us in certain marketing activities, whether it's more operational on working together with us on the go-to-market approach, but more at the strategic level, like helping us to analyze how and when we should enter new markets for Itineris. So it's really helpful. It gives us on the short term, it gives us additional product insights. As I said, we get early insights to new changes, so we can adopt, we can prepare ourselves for our customers. In some cases, we closely work together where we actually able to influence the product. We have been solicited before for inputs on certain topics in the areas of performance and trickle feed and all these great things. But on the mid to long term, it helps us provide an insight in the vision and the strategic direction where Microsoft goes. And that allows us to align, to stay in tune, and to make sure we are evolving together to give our customers basically the best possible experience. So a lot of great interaction over the years, and it only seems to grow more intense over time.
Yeah, I truly appreciate that, Christoph. And yeah, I think one of the things that we love about this partnership is that partners give us feedback on things that we could be doing better. And there's numerous occasions, especially recently, on different scenarios that makes us look at how we go to market together and what is that we need to solve for, whether it be product related, packaging related, pricing related, technology related. A numerous amount of things where you as a great ISV are helping us with that so that we can succeed together. And I mean, yes, congratulations again on Inner Circle status. And for those of you who aren't aware, maybe listening for this for the first time or coming across this replay, there is a very finite set of our business application partners that get that designation. And if you do work with Itineris, know that, hey, they are doing that because they're a very strong partner with us that are growing, and we recognize a very small select of the business partners to get that designation, and of course Itineris is one of them. So love that you made that call out and shout out, because that is a big recognition that not all partners get who are in the biz app space. So let's talk about one of my favorite questions I always like to ask all my guests is tell us a little bit about the customer stories. I mean, you talked about all the amazing innovation and customer impact that Itineris would bring to the table. Maybe you can highlight one of your favorite customer engagements, and what are some of the examples that go reinforce some of the business outcomes that you shared earlier in the dialogue?
Yeah, the one that I think about is one of our customers up north is they had rather stringent performance and security requirements towards our system. It was a really business critical system for them. It still is. And together with Microsoft, we were able to really address those requirements and meet and exceed the requirements the customer had. This was probably one of the most intense collaborations we've had over the past years, and with great success. We went live with them. They are the largest municipal water utility here in the US. But there's other examples, and basically anything I tell here is just as applicable. Obviously, I'm based in North America. I know our North American customers the best, but everything I say is basically applicable to our European customers as well. And another example that I worked with is that this is our customer in Michigan, Lansing. They really chose our CIS solution because of the foundation it provides them, the Microsoft platform. They were not only looking for a CIS solution, but they're also looking at, okay, what comes with it? Where is it built on? And as a result of them, we have been constantly in contact. That's again that partnership model we aim for, is that together with them, we are trying to bring innovation to their organization. We're trying to help address additional challenges, growth challenges that they are facing. And because of that, we're working with them right now to extend the reach of the solution into the traditional CRM area. But also we are just recently, we finished a co-development activity with City of Lansing on a very particular problem they had, and we were able to leverage again that platform, create something in Power Apps to really provide them an out-of-the-box solution to a very practical problem they had. These types of interactions, and I can give many more, but these types of interactions are proof that our approach and strategy to aim for long-term partnerships really works. They come to us, they're like, hey, Itineris, we got this challenge. What's your thought about this? Or wouldn't it be nice? And then we get together, we work towards a solution, and are able to integrate or improve existing processes. So like the one I just mentioned, the end of the COVID moratorium was coming up. They were fearing a lot of questions from payment assistance agencies calling in, and they really needed a solution to help their CSRs address the questions they might get. And things like that wouldn't be possible if we didn't have the platform to build on in the first place, but it wouldn't also be possible if we wouldn't have the kind of relationships. And in some cases, those relationships go back like 15 years or even more if we wouldn't have that relationship. So platform, relationship, the team, it all goes in. Those are all the ingredients of success stories we've had over the last couple of years.
I love it, Christoph, and I love again your repeated use of the word partnership across both sides, not just the partnership you have with Microsoft, but the strong partnership with you have your end customers, because the end customer itself, when you finally get them deployed, they're not just going to be static and running whatever you initially deployed. Especially in utilities, there's all these things that come at you, especially with COVID, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, new set of challenges and events. And when you can work with your customers and solve those business challenges and then guide them in the right path, and then you also as an ISV and an SI, you innovate on what we're doing together, because you have visibility to the roadmap, you have visibility to certain things that we're doing, to then determine, okay, how can you maximize the new capabilities and the new features that are coming out that are going to be relevant to your own customers. So that's well said. So with 5 minutes we have left, again, if there's someone out there that may have a question, we probably have time for one question if someone wants to put in that window. But Christoph, why don't we close out with just how do people learn more? I mean, we're on LinkedIn Live, and of course, opportunity to encourage everyone to connect with Christoph on LinkedIn, because you see his profile. You can easily send him a message or a connection request. But what are some call to actions that you would recommend for someone either listening to this that's in the utility space, or maybe down the road they come across this and they're listening to the replay going, oh, I didn't know these people existed, and I'm in utilities and I ran into the same problems that Christoph was talking about. So how would people end up going out and learning more?
Well, a great start is our website, of course. Itineris.net provides an overview of what we do, about our solution, gives us some more details that I wasn't able to talk about right here. I also encourage people to take a look at the app stores. Our solution is obviously featured in the app store. And if you have particular questions you can address website or app stores, feel free to reach out to me. If I'm not the right person to address, I'll be sure to connect you to whoever in our organization is best suited to help you further. So yeah.
I love it. So any last minute comments that you would like to comment on before we close this out? Christoph, looking at the window, I don't think we have anyone else that's going to potentially put anything in. So any parting words before we close this out and wrap up?
No, rest me to thank you, first of all, to giving us the opportunity to talk about our story, our product. Thanks for being the partner. We really appreciate that. And thanks again for having us today. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. And Willem has this nice comment. When can we taste Christoph in his beers? So maybe you're going to be famous one day. He's going to have his own brand with his own glass that you can actually drink from. And that's making me, because it's a little after close to almost 5:30 Belgian time. So when I wrap up my business day today, I'm going to probably have a Stella on in memory of Christoph and team. But thank you everybody for taking the time to watch this. Again, we do these every Monday. We try to do them every Monday at 8 o'clock West Coast time. So next week we'll have another ISV joining. Encourage everyone to follow the hashtag ISV Connect Live. Maybe follow the aka.ms/ISV Connect Live YouTube channel to see not just this great conversation, replay of this conversation, but other conversations we've had with other ISVs. And thank you so much, Christoph, for taking the time on a Monday to have a conversation with me. Thank you, Itineris and the Itineris team, for a great partnership. And looking forward to more success in the future. And with that being said, as we've been doing as well, I do have about a minute video from the Itineris team that showcases some of the conversation that Christoph and I just had. So if everyone would want to stay on for at least another minute, enjoy this final video. And again, Christoph, thank you so much. Continue to be well, be safe, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.